Good morning. I'll call this meeting to order. We have a quorum. All three commissioners are present. Flag salute by Commissioner Gross. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I move that we approve the minutes of November 18th, 2013.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Are there any additions, deletions, corrections? Then I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved. We have no public comment.
Next item is the employee recognition.
Employee recognition.
Okay. All right. For employee recognition, we have the Above and Beyond. The employee awards, the folks who were nominated were Matt Hyatt. And it says here, he's been recently inundated with requests to perform job duties outside of his regular tasks. He performs all such tasks diligently and professionally, always projecting a positive attitude. And being the GIS manager, it says that he has performed a lot of training regarding pictometry and has also supplied a lot of information for the shoreline management program.
I might add that Matt's reputation is known outside of the county. You guys in the GIS department prepared a substantial amount of information for the Lower Columbia Fish Recovery Board with regard to the planning and the WIRA, and we're instrumental in getting the Upper Cowlitz region left open to development, which is one of the few basins in the state that is, because of growth management and your diligence on that matter, so we appreciate that.
Okay. In the next group, Bob Soboleski, Rick Brooks, and Jerry Bland. And the nomination includes this documentation. Normally, the setup and operation of the Southwest Washington Fair is a hectic, hair-pulling event, requiring the crew at the fairgrounds to put in long hours and be pulled in many directions at once. This alone is probably enough to get nominated for Above and Beyond. This fair was no different in that regard. However, this year, the events scheduled in front of the grandstand added so much excitement. And having myself attended the South Sound Bull Bash, Hunter Hayes, and I know the Destruction Derby, the setting up was a lot to do this year. So anyway, those are our folks who have been nominated for employee or Above and Beyond.
Could Matt, Bob, Rick, and Jerry come on up?
And for those who don't know, the Above and Beyond awards we just gave out, at the end of the year, we'll be selecting Above and Beyond award winner. Okay, next is Employee of the Quarter. And our two nominees, Gail Soboleski, and the nomination has this piece about her. Gail is the manager of the Southwest Washington Fair and Fairgrounds. During the 2013 fair, she managed a very successful fair, which included a partnership with the Southwest Washington Rodeo Association, that resulted in bull riding returning to the fair after an extended absence. The event was very successful, not only for the fair, but also the Rodeo Association and the community. In addition, the fair hosted an upcoming country star in Hunter Hayes. Ticket sales for the concert was the highest amount of concert tickets sold in many years. Not to mention a very successful year managing the interim events at the fair, which have also been needed for revenue increase. And having attended Hunter Hayes and probably being at the upper age limit of a fan for Hunter Hayes, I was very impressed. People were lining up 2 o'clock in the afternoon and waiting in line to get in there. So, and the Bull Bash, there were so many events happening at the fair, and I had to choose between that and a 60s concert, so I spent half at each one. So lots of things to do at the fair, and I appreciate what happened this year. And the next one is Don Driscoll. Don helped community development when they were moving their permanent records to the PUD storage building. He was usually 2 steps ahead, getting pallets down, wrapping the pallets that were finished, and assisting in loading and unloading our vehicles. He usually had a couple of trustees from the jail working with him, and he was extremely patient in explaining how to lift properly without hurting themselves, how to efficiently load items onto hand trucks or wheeled carts. He also helped them with their social skills, prompting them to say you're welcome when we thank them for their help. Don is never without a smile. He's cheerful, willing, and patient. He is the epitome of interdepartmental cooperation, and the county is very lucky to have him. So, the 2 nominees were Gail and Don, and the selected employee of the quarter is Gail.
Is Don here?
Is Don here? No. Don's out right now. He's being helpful someplace else in the county, I'm sure.
So Dawn answered.
No. No, the team that played the Huskies did. Okay, Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the notice agenda, 2 items, resolutions 13-543 and 13-544.
Second.
The notice agenda has been a motion and seconded. Mr. Carey.
Good morning, Commissioners. Doug Carey, Facilities Manager. I am here speaking for Mike Strozik on item number 1 on the notice agenda regarding the adoption of ordinance number 1248, amending the Lewis County Code, Chapter 3.40, concerning 911 excise tax collection. There will be a hearing held on Monday, December 9th, 2013, to discuss this ordinance, which basically brings the county code in line with RCW regarding the collection of excise tax on prepaid or non-contract cell phones.
Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Lee Napier, Director of Community Development, speaking on agenda item number 2, Resolution 13-544. The action before the Commissioners today is to set a hearing date, and the hearing date would be December 16th, 2013. And the hearing would be on the countywide planning policies. At this hearing, members of the public would be invited to speak and/or provide written statements regarding the proposed, and in this case, it would be a resolution to adopt the countywide planning policies. And the hearing would address amendments to the countywide planning policies that have a recommendation from the Planning Commission and also a recommendation from the Plan Growth Committee. So any person wishing to speak at this hearing is encouraged to attend. Written comments are also permissible and should be submitted in advance of the hearing. And the information is also available on the county's website. Any questions?
Any further discussion on the notice agenda? Then I'll call for the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Notice agenda is approved.
I move that we approve the consent agenda, items 3 through 5, resolution number 13-545 through 547.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Commissioner Gross.
Resolution number 13545, item number 3 is the weekly warrants for payment. And we have 14 special purpose warrants totaling $21,001.74 and 302 regular warrants in the amount of $1,093,926.64 for a total of $1,114,928.38. In addition, we have 248 payroll warrants dated November 20th, 2013 for approval in the amount of $228,111.
You're going to do in support of the States
Sustainability?
Association.
Okay. The Washington State Association of Counties has submitted a document which they call the Fiscal Sustainability Initiative, which is a document outlining how state government and state legislation impacts counties in general. And this document is it's an educational document primarily to give us talking points to talk to the state legislators about those impacts from unfunded mandates to underfunded mandates to things that they do in the legislature that cost the counties money and or decreases our revenue sources. Example being the annexation process, which takes county tax revenue out of the county and puts it in the hands of the cities. And those are all things that are discussed in the Fiscal Sustainability Initiative. We think it's a good document, and this is just a formality endorsing that document by the Washington State Association of Counties.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Elsey.
Good morning. Tim Elsey speaking to item number 5, resolution number 13-547, ratification of a coordinated prevention grant agreement with the Washington State Department of Ecology for moderate risk waste and recycling program. The Solid Waste Division has been awarded a CPG grant from the Department of Ecology, which solid waste will use for waste reduction and recycling, the household hazardous waste collection program, and to update the solid and hazardous waste management plan. This agreement, effective July 1st, 2013 through June 30th, 2015, allows a total eligible amount of $412,129.33, of which $309,097 will be allocated by the state, and the county will match $103,032.33. Questions?
Any questions?
And once again, CPG stands for?
Coordinated Prevention Grant.
With no further discussion, I'll call for the question on the consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Consent agenda is approved. The next thing we'll do is have a hearing on the Lewis County Comprehensive Planning, resolution number 13548. We will start out with a staff report, followed by a question and answer period. We will then close the question and answer period and open the hearing for formal testimony. After formal testimony, we will consider the resolution proposed. Lee Napier.
Thank you, Lee Napier, Community Development. I'll begin the staff presentation. The public hearing today is consideration by the board to adopt Resolution 13-548, and this resolution would amend the comprehensive plan, and this would be considered the 2013 amendment to the comprehensive plan. This amendment includes revisions to the capital facilities and utilities element. the capital facilities and utilities profile, and the future land use maps. This matter was reviewed by the Planning Commission earlier this year. The Planning Commission conducted 3 public workshops and a public hearing to review the requests and have presented to you their recommendation. Their recommendation is Exhibit A, and I would ask that it be incorporated into the record by reference. And with that, I'll turn it over to Stan to present the content and the specific recommendations.
Stan May, Community Development. Good morning, Commissioners. The capital, I'm going to break this up and talk about the element and profile first, and then I'll get to the land use map. So the capital facilities and utilities element and profile would be amended to streamline the process of incorporating the county's comprehensive, the county's capital facilities plan, the 6-year transportation improvement program, and school district capital facilities plans. New language would be automatically incorporate the CFPs and the STIP when they are adopted by the county. So in other words, when the county adopts any of those, it would be automatically incorporated into the comprehensive plan. New language, access to the county capital facilities plan and the STIP are currently on the website in their respective departments, and the school district capital facilities plans are on the comprehensive plan website. If adopted, we would put links to the county capital facility plan and the STIP on the comprehensive plan website so that everything would be able to access right there.
Easy to find.
Huh?
Easy to find.
Easy to find. So the language to automatically adopt all these plans is on page 7-1 of the proposed amendment to the element, and that's Exhibit B. Edits to the capital facilities and utilities profile include corrections of Scrivener's errors in the school district descriptions. Those are on, in Exhibit C, and they're on pages C5 through C7. And then also in the capital facilities and utilities profile, the outdated tables, summary of sources and uses for 2009-2014 capital facilities plan would be deleted as it would be outdated. Those are on pages C20 through C23. These are all in Exhibit C. Something to keep in mind is that the annual updates are minor updates used to address pressing issues such as adopting these CFPs by reference. In this case, changes to the profile, we don't normally do a lot of changes to the profile, but since we were adopting school district capital facilities plans by reference, we wanted to make sure that section was current. And so that's what triggered the updates to this supporting information. The profile is basically supporting information and background and data supporting the goals and policies in the element. There is other outdated information in the profile and all of the profiles, and those will be reviewed and updated if necessary during the state-mandated comprehensive plan 8-year review cycle, which is due in 2017. So the whole plan will be brought up to date at that time because there are a lot of things that need to be updated. Any questions on this part?
Yeah, my only question is, when we say automatically, it triggers something in my head, and I'd kind of like you to define what we mean by automatically incorporated.
The language in the element says that It says the capital facilities in the middle of the paragraph, each annual update is adopted by reference. This is part of the comprehensive plan, so that way we don't have to do anything. As long as it's an annual update, it's adopted by the board, it is now part of the comprehensive plan.
So you're putting that in a different attachment that goes to the plan, so you don't have to change the plan every time?
Correct. We don't have to change, we don't have to do a comprehensive plan amendment to add new references to new items. Anything else? Okay, moving on to the future land use map, which is part of the comprehensive plan. This would be separated from the zoning map so that the comprehensive plan amendment is not always required for a simple rezone request, such as from one RDD zone, RDD 5 to RDD 10, or vice versa, or rezones within LAMRDs, which are the small town zones and some of the RAI, the rural industrial, things like that. A rezone that includes a change to the future land use map, such as from agricultural resource land to RDD, would still require a comprehensive plan amendment because it would be a change of the future land use map. We're going to accomplish this by consolidating and renaming the land use categories so that they reflect adopted future land uses rather than zoning designations. And then the consolidated categories would be cities, UGA, LAMRD, rural, parks and tourism, agricultural, forest, and mineral. Excuse me. And these maps are shown in Exhibit D, the proposed updates. Questions on this section?
You have another section. You have one more section to go through?
No?
That's it? Okay.
This concludes it.
Does the board have any questions? Mr. Averill, you want to come to the mic?
Ron Averill, Greater Centralia area. Stan, I presume that the comprehensive plan still requires to be submitted annually with any changes, is that correct?
Yes, it doesn't have to be amended annually, but it can only be amended once a year, yes.
So my question is if I adopt by reference, does that need to be submitted during the annual update?
No.
So how do they know what previously they had access to the capital facilities plans and the STIP and the things like that, and if they don't get forwarded to them, how do they know that they've been changed?
Could you clarify when you say to them, who you mean?
To the Growth Management Board for the annual update of the comprehensive plan.
I think what you're saying is you don't have to update the comprehensive plan every year, but there are changes, we will update it. But these references would still go with the annual update. What I'm saying is I can't see change in a reference if we're not going to make a change to the plan. How would anybody know that the attachments had changed?
The attachments the comprehensive plan would reflect just the current county capital facilities plan and just the current county STIP.
So if the reference changed, how would you know if you didn't make a change to comprehensive plan or if you didn't submit one? So are you saying that these things like the transportation improvement plan, the TIP, it mentions it in the comprehensive plan, but it has its own hearing process?
Oh, yes, those are adopted on a separate process, yes. You adopt the The STIP, when it's a separate process, when you adopt that, then the county has adopted that STIP, and then at the same time, it is now part of the comprehensive plan.
So the comprehensive plan says, see the TIP, and you go see whatever TIP went through the review process.
Correct, correct. And the link on the website will be a link to the most current STIP, or the most current county capital facilities plan.
Yeah, I've got no objection to the process. Streamlining is great. I just think we need to recheck that whether there needs to be a notification when you do your update that you got the reference to those plans, and just check that out. The second one is, I also think is a grand idea, but I understand that if you change all the rural development districts just to rural, and then I move from 5 to 10 or 5 to 20, I understand that. But what if I move from RDD to agricultural?
That requires a comprehensive plan amendment.
That's what I wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other questions? Are there any other questions? Then I would like to close the question and answer period and ask Lee, Stan, would you like your opening comments be incorporated into the record of the hearing?
Yes, please incorporate our comments and the documents that were referenced as well, the exhibits A through D.
Thank you. Any other comments from the board?
Yeah, the land use maps and the zoning maps, that issue has come to the fore, and what we're trying to do, I believe, is trying to make it a little bit easier, make the process a little bit easier for someone to use their land according to the use that's been prescribed without having to go through the whole rezone process, which I think is that's what the goal is. And before, we had to go through a complete rezone to get a land use change made. And if my reasoning is correct, I think that's what we're trying to do here. One of the things we're trying to do.
I would say yes, your reasoning is correct, but also would like to add that a lot of our efforts, not necessarily related to this, is trying to make it easier for the reader and for staff to interact, become educated about how they can use their land, because people want to know in advance. They want to be well-read on the topic so that they can come in and have a well-informed conversation with us.
Yes, and this is an issue that I've been a part of as far as exempt wells status and so on throughout the counties of the state. We've been involved in this discussion. Someone comes in and says, well, I've got a well, I've got potable water, so therefore I should be able to build. And they're being told, and not in this county, but in other counties, well, that's nice that you've got a well, you've got a good hole in the ground, but our zoning and our requirements are that you can't build on that property because of yada, 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 whatever that reason might be. Because it's not zoned properly, because some other reason. And this is hopefully going to alleviate some of that. We're trying to make it so that people who do drill wells and submit their well logs will also have to verify that with the county that they've got the ability to build on that property before they go through all that process.
Is there any other testimony? Then I will close the hearing for public testimony and call for the question for resolution number 13548.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve resolution 13548 adopting Lewis County Comprehensive Plan.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Then I'll call for the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Seeing no further business on our agenda, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.
Abstain.
I whispered.